The question that I still don't have an answer to is, do they want it because they want it, or do they want it because they need it to get construction done by the time they want to get open in 2030 and to realistically put in a bid for the 2031 Women's World Cup? The big question is, like, kind of where are we standing? And the highlight that you may have seen from this interview on social media, et cetera, is, hey, how concerned are you? And Mayor Bowser going out of 5, and she goes 4. And the question is kind of why. Like, everyone thinks this deal is going to get done. So what's at risk here? And that was where this interview started with Sheehan and Bowser, is like, what's the window of opportunity that we're looking at here? What is actually closing, and why are you so adamant this deal has to be done by July 15th, less than 2 weeks from now?
Well, this is how I live my life, Kevin, and it has been borne out in many, many experiences, is that sometimes in life, windows of opportunity open. And those people and those organizations who are successful figure out a way to get through the window, because you never know when it's going to close. You never know how fast it's going to close. In this case, I negotiated an exclusive agreement that runs through July 15th after many months of negotiation. And after kind of our own Hail Mary, late December of last year, where we got the site in D.C.'s control after decades and decades of being under the control of the National Park Service. So we've done a lot of work. We have the right partner, and the time is now.
So that's Mayor Bowser earlier today on that front. And if you need a refresher, the deal is currently with D.C. City Council. They have to approve it, and there are things that they don't like in it. So what is taking so long, and like, what does City Council want to change? That was another question to Mayor Bowser.
Well, they won't tell me. I mean, literally, they won't tell me. So I think they gave more to the Washington Post last week than they've told me or the team. And so that's what I'm talking about when I say let's all get in a room, hammer it out, and come up with if there are terms that make sense. Now, I will say, like, we didn't leave a lot. I don't think we left anything on the table. Like, we negotiated hard. We got $2.7 billion, a roofed stadium that's going to generate tons of economic activity. So I think we've always expected that the council members would negotiate a community benefits package with having spoken to the community and focused on getting D.C. residents employed, having small businesses have opportunities on the site, focus on youth sports. By the way, our deal includes building an indoor sportsplex that would be for D.C. And so I think that it's always been contemplated that that community benefits package would be negotiated at the council, at the council's process. And I'm looking forward to that being delivered at the same time.
So I think it's worth saying in defense of the council, and again, I'm not here to defend either side. I'm just here to try to present as much information as possible and contextualize some of these things that the people involved are saying. The question is, like, what's taking so long and what do they want changed? The council's response would be, we haven't been working at it that long and we still don't even have the full thing. Like, we haven't had a chance to read it. These deals are not little, like, one-sheet pamphlets. These are, probably 100 or 1,000-page documents where every detail is critical. Like, some detail miss could mean $100 million is spent unnecessarily or against the will of the council had they seen. Like, there are experts that have to go through this stuff, and it takes time. And what Mayor Bowser did, intentionally or unintentionally, I'm not going to ascribe whether this was, like, politically conniving or politically genius or politically reckless. Like, I'm not going to ascribe intention to it. But because she presented them on the timeline that she did, where she was like, okay, here's my budget months late, and this is a part of it. And the council was like, all right, we have to get the budget done. We're going to pull this deal out of it and be able to look at it deeper. They actually, it's not like it's the only thing they have to do. And thus, they haven't actually had a lot of time to go through it and see if they agree with her. Because they might get to the end of this deal and be like, we don't love that. We don't love that. But can we make these small tweaks? Okay, let's get it done. You guys, hey, Mayor Bowser, you did a great job of bargaining hard. Good work on behalf of the city. They also might not. But like, you can't know what you don't know. And it takes time to know things. And thus, I think it's a little, like the premise of the question gives into Mayor Bowser's side of the story. And whether she's right or not, I don't know. But I do know the council is would say they disagree with that premise. Last but not least, like, what's your like actual concern here? When the rubber meets the road, do you think the Commanders will re-engage with the state of Maryland, or are you confident that this thing is going to get done and they'll figure something out?
The negotiation exclusivity runs through July 15th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are you concerned that post-July 15th, the team will negotiate with, say, Maryland, as an example?
Listen, I think the team wants to be at RFK. We want them to be at RFK, but they do business. They don't do politics. And so I think that we have an agreement. I stand by our agreement, and we both stand side by side in our willingness to answer all the council's questions and get to a yes this summer. And that's important. Now, I've been around this long enough to know, and you know what we went through last year with our sports teams. And so that's why having a period of exclusivity was like, I insisted that be a part of the term sheet. And that's why I protected so vigorously, because I was that other jurisdiction. Okay. I was that other jurisdiction when I see a deal that wasn't solid. Our deal is solid. We have a signed term sheet. That wasn't the case in the Virginia deal, but I know how this can go, and so I think we all need to treat that period of exclusivity with the seriousness that it deserves.
I think that is the right approach to what she said at the end, to say we should approach it as such. But we should be aware. But she also didn't say no. She didn't say, yeah, I think they're going to go back to Maryland, because I don't think they will. I think what we're talking about is getting this done on the timeline they want. And the question that I still don't have an answer to is, do they want it because they want it, or do they want it because they need it to get construction done by the time they want to get open in 2030 and to realistically put in a bid for the 2031 Women's World Cup?
This is the Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and the Odyssey app.